T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs, back from vacation down by the riverside.
Yes, sir, and I'm J-Boy, and T-Dog is on assignment this week. Lugs, you're back from some much-needed R&R. Feeling good?
Feeling rested, just loving life, living large.
Did you and Fish attend that reunion I heard so much about?
Well, we went fishing. It's sort of a, fish catching fish. I don't know. It's one of those strange moments.
Well, T-Dog must be doing the same thing. We'll catch up with him next week. But, I got the church bulletin this week, and something was in there caught my eye. Maybe when you were out of town, you caught it too. The peacemaking meeting scheduled for today has been canceled due to conflict. Yes.
Okay.
Never use that one again. All right, let's get on with this program here. We call it Sports and Other Stuff. Thanks for tuning in and listening on this podcast. So the big news this week, Caitlin Clark will not be on the U.S. women's basketball team at next month's Summer Olympics in Paris. Led by five-time gold medal winner Diana Taurasi, the women's team has won 7 consecutive gold medals, a streak that started way back at the 1996 games in Atlanta. Lugs, what do you think? Caitlin Clark is a no-go.
Well, I think it's a missed opportunity for sure. I mean, she is one of those, when you look at it realistically, I equate her to like what Tiger Woods was to golf, she is to women's basketball. Mm-hmm. No matter what happens, I mean, she's not having a great season and her team isn't, but people want to see her. Whatever that factor is an it factor. Because look at what happened. As soon as she came into the league, they moved to bigger arenas. They were selling out. They actually got charter flights. And bottom line for me, if I'm NBC and I've paid whatever, $1 billion for the Olympics, I would be calling up whoever made that decision and say, wait a minute, we're here to put eyeballs on the screen, people in the seats, and you're robbing us. So that's my attitude. Yes, maybe there's some other people more deserving, but it's a business after it's all said and done. And you gotta respect the business, because right now I would say she is the hottest woman in sport, and maybe the hottest person in sport, period. Because let's face it, like Scotty Scheffler, he's won 5 tournaments this year. I didn't know that. The only thing I knew was he was arrested at Valhalla for going through an accident scene, right? So I'm telling you, they're missing an opportunity. It makes me, and I have never watched WNBA, and this year I have caught a couple of games. So that's sort of where I'm at with the whole Caitlin Clark business.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Okay, I thought that the WNBA was a radio station on the FM dial for the longest time, but it's not. And I agree. I can go both ways on this. First of all, I understand she hasn't been with this team and not practiced, not gelled, never taken a pass from anybody, and certainly wasn't among the veterans who are coming back year after 4 years. But I also think you're right. I think even if she warmed the bench, she's a big deal. The people of France, the people of the world would love to see her. She'd be a big deal there. She's a big deal everywhere. She'd sell seats. She'd sell tickets. She'd sell merch. She'd sell jerseys. And you're right, NBC, those would be the highest rated events they'd have in the summer games, I'm pretty sure. Other than, maybe gymnastics, of course. But I think you're right. I think it's a big deal, and I think it's a missed opportunity. But I think she's okay with it from what I've read. I've looked into this a little bit, and I think she's okay with it. But I wish she wasn't as much. And I'd like to see her out there because why not? I mean, this WNBA, you can't always find the games either. They're all over the place on different channels, as we know. And that's always been a struggle. Baseball is going through the same thing. That's the beauty of football. You know where it's going to be every week and week out. But I think we know the Olympics are on NBC. We know they'll put those games in prime time, basketball especially. She'd have been a household name if she isn't already. And to see her in a red, white, and blue with the whatever number, 22, whatever she's going to wear. I mean, we remember when the pros jumped into this back in was that the Seoul Games of '88 when the Dream Team, Jordan and the like, was that year? Something like that, right? Late 80s?
It's been a while, yeah.
So it would be not like that, but certainly for the women's side, I think it would be akin to that. I don't want to diminish the current players or the veterans and the people who've been doing it forever, but I think you're right. Give her a shot. Let's see. Now, I understand she is like an alternate. If some people get injured or can't play, like Brittany Griner, I hear, is not doing well, and maybe she won't make the team because of injury, but I don't know. Let's hope she gets on there. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's one of those moments that you rarely see in sport where you have an opportunity to expand your fan base pretty much exponentially. And I get, everybody says that the WNBA has always been sort of a full contact place. I don't know if I believe that or not, but I've seen Caitlin Clark on the ground a lot.
Yep.
She's been hitting the floor a lot with hard checks and everything else. I understand the veterans are kind of hacked that they've been toiling away, but by the same token, you're there to make money.
Yep.
This ain't style points.
Yep.
So they're sort of cutting their noses off despite their faces.
Yeah.
It's just, I find it hard to fathom.
There's been a lot of forearm shivers, right, thrown her way, as she comes down the lane and as she's just standing there in that one case of that one flagrant foul that wasn't called. But I agree that they're kind of, this is the golden goose. This is the money maker. What rubs off of her rubs on you. You could make more money if you listen to how this goes. But you have to also remember, these are 20-something-year-old people, and they don't always think, maybe it's more straightforward at that age. I don't know. That's just a guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
well,
we'll see what happens. Tips off, Olympic Games tip off in about a month, a little over a month, on NBC with Mike Tirico. He's a friend of the show. He'll be there. Shaking howdy there from the broadcast center. And they've said that just about every scene on NBC will have the Eiffel Tower behind them all the time, from the Today Show all through the day. So they've kind of planned that out. But you can't miss it in Paris, can you? I mean, it's always there, right?
as long as you're, well, I can't say because I haven't been to Paris, but as long as you're somewhere, downtown there.
Yeah.
On the River Seine, or Seine, whatever it is.
Seine. Insane, Seine. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, let's get to some stuff that really matters.
Okay, take
NFL.
it away. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking at, my favorite, Kirk Cousins is in the OTAs. He's trying to, loosen up and get to know his players. I have been down on Kirk Cousins. There's no secret there. But I do think with Atlanta, with that offense, with Bijan Robinson as running back, they've got Drake London at receiver and Kyle Pitts at tight end. It's really the old guy. They need to have a rocking chair in the locker room for Cousins, because I think they're one, like along with Green Bay, one of the youngest around. I believe their players mostly are 23 and under. Cousins is 35.
He is.
And he is coming off of the right Achilles surgery. So we'll see how that goes.
And do you think that with Penix in the background there, in the bullpen, so to speak, that might actually make Cousins better or do you think it'll make him worse? He'll be always looking over his shoulder. Is that, competition, so to speak, like that good for Cousins as they go forward? I think so.
Yeah, I think when you have to prove yourself, but I do think for all the crap I've given Cousins over the years, he is a professional
He is.
quarterback. I don't think he'll be rattled at all. And I think the folks in Atlanta, they don't see Penix as starting until Cousins has done what he's going to do.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah. And I think what they, if I were managing and I moved up to take Penix, my thought would be give him 2 years with Cousins, learning from Cousins, and then you get yourself, because Penix is a level-headed guy himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little older. He's
True.
already, I think, 24.
Yep.
But I think that's a good move on Atlanta's part. Now, our boy T-Dog, he wanted them to shore up that defense.
Yeah.
But as I've told the dog on several occasions, you don't put points on the board. No matter what your defense does, you got to put some points on the board. So,
Yep.
that was me looking at. I guess the other one that jumps out to me is Joe Burrow at the Bengals.
Yeah.
You wonder about, because he had surgery on his right
He did.
wrist, his throwing arm, and I worry about him being able to hold up, because every year he's gotten hurt now.
He has.
It's been when he's in there, he does just an amazing stuff, and they all believe in him. You can tell, but I kind of concerned about just being able to stay healthy. It's simple.
You're right. He blew out the knee a couple of years ago and missed most of the season. And then last year, how many games did he miss? Was it 8? It was a lot.
Yeah.
With that
he
wrist.
missed a lot of.
And you just hope he can hang in there. And I'm back to what you said about T-Dog. You're right. Offense wins games these days. That's what the NFL is. Let's talk about defense wins championships and some of that kind of tired old thinking. But you're right. You got to throw the ball in the end zone. You got these speedsters. Let's go. It's about putting points on the board. And whether it's Penix, Burrow, Kirk Cousins, whoever it is, they got to have a connection there. And I think you're right. Atlanta, I think that's a good call. That's a good shot, good chance for them. What the heck? Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, their only competition theoretically would be Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay just lost their 2 main receivers.
Yep.
So they should win that division easily. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
Another one of.
Yep.
Well, do you have a point?
Well,
or
Mike Tomlin, contract extension. Your thoughts on that? Expected, unexpected? Is he worth it? Worth doing?
Worth doing, I'd say very much so. I wasn't really surprised in that family is always very loyal. They take care of their folks. They stayed with Roethlisberger for at least 2 years more than they should have, but they stayed with him.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, Tomlin has never had a losing season.
True.
I don't know if there's another coach in the NFL that hasn't had a losing season. Even Andy Reid at Kansas City, now he's not lost at Kansas City, but he lost at Philadelphia.
Yeah, he had some tough moments there. Yeah.
I think that's good, and it's interesting. I also think he needs to be a steady hand dealing with Russell Wilson.
Yep.
How he's going to handle Justin Fields, because Justin Fields is that young pup,
Yep.
and he's spouting off already,
Yep.
saying he doesn't see it as him learning from Russell Wilson. He sees this as a competition, and he's going to win it. So they're going to
Wow.
need a steadying hand manage all of that. Russell Wilson will start for them. There's no doubt. You don't take over that kind
No.
of debt
Right.
and not get a little payoff for it. So
Yeah. Don't. Good luck in that locker room a little bit. Whatever happens, happens. And you have to ask yourself regarding Tomlin. And we talked about Stefanski got extended as well at Cleveland last week. You have to ask yourself, as if you're the general manager, okay, if you don't take Tomlin or Stefanski, who are you going to get? And that happens a lot, as we've seen recently in college coaching. It's like they've let go of a guy, but they kind of didn't have a plan to go, okay, who's coming in? Do you guys know? Have we talked to anybody? It's kind of like, and you have to ask yourself, who would come in? Who would you get that's going to be better than Tomlin? I don't think you can find anybody, not with any experience anyway.
no, not at all. I mean, Belichick, because Belichick is, he's past his prime.
72 years old. Yep.
Yeah.
And
so,
did you see him? Maybe the greatest photo op of recent memory. Him on a dais on a podium next to the Prime Minister of Croatia, and because he went there to be recognized at a soccer match. And here's the hoodie, wearing a nice, it might have been a Macy's suit, but let's say more like J.C. Penney type suit with a necktie and a little bit with a big knot. It was one of those big knots, kind of that cowboy big knot looking thing. And there he is, the hoodie, Bill Belichick, at a podium next to the Prime Minister of Croatia being recognized during a soccer match. I guess he's Croatian. Did we know this? Did you know that? I don't know that.
no, I did not know that. I thought he was straight out of Jersey, but
Anyway.
good for Bill.
Yeah.
I guess that's just bizarre to me.
Yeah, he could go do some color commentary maybe in his homeland there. The Croats, some soccer game. I don't know.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, that's that one. What else do you have for us tonight?
Well, I was just looking at. It's an interesting. We were talking quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Interesting with the Denver Broncos. You got Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, and Zach Wilson, and Sean Payton, the head coach, is yet to make any decision. He says that he's going to get as many snaps for all three of them as he can, and he will make his choice. I'm thinking they went for Bo Nix, and 12th pick in the draft. Jared Stidham's had his shot.
Oh,
Zach
many times.
Wilson's had his shot.
Yep.
So I think, Sean Payton's playing a little bit of, politic there just to keep the boys sort of happy. But because, let's face it, he may need them because the way quarterbacks drop now with a 17-game season,
Yeah, true.
injury has become one of the key factors, really, when you look at the way things work out. So, yeah, that was interesting to me.
What was that great Johnny Mathis song? Yes, it's over. Call it a day. Wasn't that it? That's what Jared Stidham should be singing. But, Jared Stidham's done pretty well for being a guy who falls into those, like, okay, guy gets injured. Now I got to play 5 straight games. He's done that time and time again, somewhat successfully. So that's a good plan, I think. Zach Wilson, I'm not sure, but I think you're right. Why wouldn't you go with Bo Nix? I mean, what do you have to lose? You gotta go forward.
Yeah.
You got to start a new tradition. You got to start a new somewhere on a guy's rookie contract. Let's go. Nobody's getting any younger, but good for them.
Well, and speaking of quarterbacks, will this be the year that Bryce Young shows up?
Right.
Now, admittedly, I watched some games and no offensive line at all. So it would be nice that they get a better offensive line to you can actually evaluate him. So that and one of the things that kind of is worrisome, the volunteer workouts, the left guard that they've gotten, Robert Hunt, who is a good player. He's not a great player. He didn't do the voluntary workouts, and a lot of the older players don't do those anymore. But you, since he's coming in, you'd think he'd want to get to know the other offensive linemen. Hopefully, they can get all of that worked out. And this time around, Young will have a couple of receivers, Deontay Johnson and Xavier Leggett. So hopefully,
Yeah,
he'll get an honest shot, and we can see.
all of those things are such, have to be about timing. Just hitting the right team at the right time with the right coach, and obviously it worked very well for someone like Patrick Mahomes. But there's time and time again stories about guys just. If you ever get a chance, there's this documentary about Alex Smith. You remember him and how he blew that horrific tackle, Joe Theismann-esque tackle, and he was replaced by Patrick Mahomes at Kansas City. Interesting. He was a very, highly regarded quarterback, but he just hit these teams at the wrong time, and they wanted somebody else. And then he got injured, and then he came back somehow and played again. It's a miraculous thing. But yeah, you're right. With Bryce Young, if it doesn't work there, and then a guy's confidence gets shot, and now you go, can he play elsewhere? But we've talked about him before. His physicality being kind of slight, and a little smaller than the average quarterback. That's tricky. That's tricky for him.
Yeah, it'll be this year we'll decide his career for him. That's just the way it's going to work. I think also this year we'll decide the career for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
At the New York Giants. He's coming off an ACL injury as well. And last year, it was just sad. I mean, Brian Dable is a good coach, but if you don't have horses, you got no race to run. And he didn't. They've improved their offensive line a little bit. And another QB that just keeps showing up and collecting a paycheck, Drew Lock.
He does. He does.
Daniel Jones better look out. I mean,
Drew Lock's our quarterback. You've heard that a bunch of times. Well, we're going with Lock. Yeah, he's our guy. We're going to go with him.
Yeah, so.
And that usually doesn't play out too well for him. Nope, not a tick. Not at all. Yep.
Yeah, and staying in New York, sort of, we've also got to wonder about everybody's favorite, Aaron Rodgers. What's it going to be like? I mean, let's be honest. They put everything into him.
Yep.
They've got no money to go elsewhere, and
it's
far their Pro Bowl pass rusher Hassan Reddick looks like he's going to. I mean, he basically forfeited $250,000. He didn't want to do the bonus workouts, and if he doesn't go to the mini camp, that'll be another $50,000.
Yep.
So that defense is what gave them any life they had at all, because they had absolutely no offense. So that'll be an interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Rodgers can stay on the field for more than 4 plays.
I mean, all the chips are on the table, from the coach to the GM to Rodgers and the team. I mean, if you don't win now, baby, this year or next, what's the point? There won't be a point. They'll be all, they'll all be out of there, and it'll end disgracefully, and not too well, with a lot of egg on face. And I'm afraid that, it's a lot. And it cost them a year already. So really, their window is getting it's starting to slam pretty quick. I think this year and next, and that'll be it. I gotta think.
Well, I think you're for my dollar. I think you're being optimistic about next year. I think it's this year or it's done.
Yeah.
I just can't see them. I don't know how you would continue on with that, because it won't get better. I mean, Rodgers is not going to get any younger. So it'll be interesting to see. Another one of the rookies I want to see is Jaden Daniels at the Washington Commanders.
True.
He's sort of coming in his name just went out of my mind. down at Houston. Uh,
Yep. Not Anthony Richardson, but yep, we'll get it.
yeah. Well, Jaden Daniels. I mean, they're putting a lot on that kid's shoulders. He doesn't have a lot to work with, but that'll be interesting. And you mentioned Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
My real concern with him, I just hope he doesn't become another RG3.
Yeah.
You know, he got really. I mean, his
Rocked.
injury is worse than what they're letting on.
Yep.
So
Crack intern just said C.J. Stroud in my ear, so that's who we're thinking of. We just lost him
Yeah.
in the ether up here. Yep. He's looking good, man. I think he's the guy. Gonna be a good year for that guy. Wow.
yeah, and they've added quite a bit around him. They've upgraded the receivers. They got themselves a nice tight end. So, yeah, it's going to be it's pretty amazing once you get that quarterback right.
Yep.
It seems like you can, especially a rookie quarterback. You got him on that contract,
Yes,
so
sir.
you've got money to get a few free agents and some older players. So
I think it's gonna be a
And-
very exciting year. Very exciting.
yeah, I think you're at the tail end of
Mhm.
that Rodgers, Stafford, Kirk Cousins era.
Yep.
I think we're rolling over into a new system,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know that you're going to have quarterbacks. Well, if they indeed go to an 18-game season,
Wow. Yes.
I don't think you'll have quarterbacks who'll have their careers will be shortened to running backs now. Usually 3 to 5 years, and a running back is done, just because the defensive guys are just so big and fast.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like money in the bank. If you add that extra game,
No doubt. Selling tickets and TV ratings, baby. Yep.
and I'll also be interested in seeing how this year with the Chargers, with our crazy man Harbaugh out
Yes.
there.
Jimbo. Yes, sir.
I wonder if he is going to be giving up his Target khakis. The wife gets them by the boatload, I think. So
You think
You
she'll
know.
get some more like styled ones from some designer out there in Cal?
probably not.
No.
You know,
Target.
because can you imagine Harbaugh caring about whatever pants he's wearing?
Yeah.
You know, that guy. You can tell it's football.
Yeah.
If it's not made of leather, it has no place in his universe. So,
Oh gosh, yeah.
but he's going to have some issues. I mean, Justin Herbert is still around, of course.
Yep.
And Allen and Mike Williams, the receiving core. So they're going to have to get something out of Ladd McConkey, who comes in he was at Georgia, and a DJ Clark they've got. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out as well.
In one of the toughest divisions in football too. So good luck, sir. You know that's like what the juggernaut over there. So
Yeah. I mean, even Seattle, they're not quite what they once were, but they're still a good time. I mean, Geno Smith's doing okay. Sam Howell will be his backup.
Yep.
Carolina boy.
Yep.
Uh,
and Kyler Murray
So-
there with the Cardinals. We'll see. You know, maybe.
yeah. Well, I tell you, Kyler, I have a little hesitancy with, but he does have Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, you know what? I was in the wrong division. I was in the NFC West. Yep, my bad. AFC West, not the Cardinals. Strike that, Your
Yeah.
Honor. Yeah. But you're right. He does
Well,
have Marvin Harrison Jr. You're right.
So that'll be interesting. And I guess we can go round the horn here. It'll be interesting to see Drake May in New England. They didn't really get much of offense around him. It's pretty much the same team as they've had for the past whatever. And so again, we're early here, but Matt Judon is not participating in voluntary practices, and he is theoretically one of the best outside linebackers they've got going. Their defense is, I'd give them a B plus. Their offense, C.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't have a running back, no receivers. It's just weird, Once you've had that massive long stretch of winning, it's like you get fat, you get lazy, you let Bill Belichick run your operation.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Bill Belichick has ever drafted a quality offensive person.
True. True.
So it'll be interesting. And we got to mention Green Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. And the North is, I
mean,
think, a cool division this year. I like the NFC North with lots of options. Yeah.
Oh, and Detroit.
Wide open.
Yeah. I guess the only question mark would be Minnesota, but I think they'll be fine as well.
Mm-hmm. All signs are pointing good. J.J. McCarthy is the kind of guy they want, the kind of guy they wanted. They got him. O'Connell says he fits what he wants to do. I don't know. He's got the job, as far as I can tell. So Sam Darnold may start. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think the whole North is interesting. Everybody's new or pretty close to new. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the Pack, they can only get better because, they talk about your babies. Those guys, they're not old enough to know what they don't know. They're not afraid of it. They dismantled Dallas.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Dallas team just fold up like that. That was kind of shocking, really. And Dallas, let's be honest, they got, okay, you've got people in place, but it's there's too much meddling by young Jerry Jones.
Young Jerry Jones needs a winner, and if he doesn't, look out. Look out.
Well, think about it. It's been, what, 25 years?
Yeah. Since the way back when. So we've got about, let's see, a little more than 5 minutes left. Do you have any sports of yesteryear? You want to try to crank that out this week? Or?
Oh, sure.
All right, let's give that a try. Hang on a second. We got to queue up that big open that we paid so much money for. There it is. Sports of yesteryear. He's out and about in his 62 Chevy 2 Nova. His name is Lugs, and he's got us some sports of yesteryear. Here he comes right now. Come on in here now.
All right. We're going way back in the old sports of yesteryear. 1880, Worcester, Ruby Legs pitcher Lee Richmond throws the first perfect game in Major League Baseball history with a 1-0 win over Cleveland Blues at the Agricultural County Fairgrounds, Worcester, Massachusetts. 1948, 80th Belmont. Eddie Arcaro wins aboard Citation. He claims his second Triple Crown. The first was on Whirlaway in 1941. 1977, LPGA Championship Women's Golf. Shako Higuchi of Japan wins her one and only LPGA major title. 1988, Senior Tournament Players Championship. Billy Casper wins the final major of his career by 2 strokes over Al Geiberger. And 1991 NBA Finals, Chicago Bulls beat the LA Lakers 108-101 in Game 5 for the first of 3 straight titles. MVP, no surprise here, Michael Jordan, of course, in his first NBA Final appearance. That's it for this edition of Sports of Yesteryear.
His first NBA Finals MVP, huh? How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Whirl Away. Eddie Arcaro, man, that's one of those classic racing names, isn't it, from back in the day?
Yeah, that's when the announcers were like Eddie Arcaro,
Right.
Arcaro.
Here
that
comes
kind of
Whirl
thing.
Away. Yeah. Oh, I love that kind of stuff. Just that classic stuff. Okay, we got like under 5. We got about 4 minutes. Anything else cooking tonight? Summertime activity? What do you got? Things you miss as a kid? Going to the pool, playing baseball? I don't know, hanging out, tiddlywinks.
Well, I was just going to quickly mention NBA.
Yeah.
The Boston Celtics really put a hammer on the Dallas Mavericks.
Amen. Yep.
The Mavericks, they should be better at home. I think they were a little intimidated. I could tell. I watched a little bit of that second game, and the kid from Duke, Blake Lively, with the shock of hair that just keeps on waving. You could tell he was a little intimidated to be there. So I think they'll be better going forward. But I would say that the Celtics, if they do not win this time around,
Break them up. Break them up.
well, the money is going to break them
Yeah.
up, I would say.
Yeah.
So but that was my only final note. Well, my final note is we got to give props to Jerry West, who passed at 86.
Yep.
Jerry was the architect of the whole James Worthy,
Mhm.
Magic Johnson era.
Absolutely.
He's the one that made the deal that brought Kobe to them, that brought Shaq to them. I think it was 8 championships. that
Amazing.
he- that,
Amazing. Yep.
You know,
Had his fingers in. Yep.
and that NBA logo with that player, that is Jerry West.
He is the
So,
logo. Yeah. R.I.P. Jerry. You're right. I remember watching him as a kid as a player. He
Yeah.
looked just like that logo. Or maybe the logo
Yeah.
looked like him. But all right, so let's bring this one to a close, shall we? This has been Sports and Other Stuff, brought to you part by this week Henry Lawrence Clothiers, where the models buy their clothes. Yes, there are many locations throughout the metro, including Walmart. No, that's West Riverside Park. Wait, I can't even read my own writing. Stop in and ask for our guy. He's there tonight. His name is Fish. No, Fish. Is it Fish? Is he there?
Fish is here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This week, our man in the know is marking a movie milestone. Toy Story 3, directed by Lee Unkrich, starring Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, premiered June 12, 2010. It became the first animated film to earn $1 billion in ticket sales. To celebrate all things Woody, Buzz, and Jessie, this Saturday at 1 p.m., Fish, along with the voice of Buttercup, Jeff Garland, will host a Toy Story Film Fest. Admission is $20, and parents be prepared. The first 4 Toy Story films will be screened along with the trailer from Toy Story 5. So come on down.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You only get that kind of stuff on Sports and Other Stuff. We'll be back, next week. So join us then. Until then, good hunting, fishing, boating, and camping. So long for just a while. Bye-bye.